What's happening, guys? And welcome back to the channel. And unfortunately, last night it became two defeats in the space of 4 days as Chelsea went down 1-0 to Juventus in Turin with a goal from Federico Chiesa just 11 seconds into the second half. There was another disappointing performance on the night from the boys in blue. Joining me to discuss this in more detail is my brother, second appearance on the channel. Bro, welcome back to the channel. Great to have you on board. Let's get straight into it. Lineup. I have to say I was quite surprised, not surprised, sorry, to see us revert back to the 3-4-3 that we've had so much success with under Thomas Tuchel. But I was surprised to see Hakim Ziyech start, and I was a little bit surprised not to see Ruben Loftus-Cheek get a place in the midfield, particularly with N'Golo Kante missing. Let's start with Hakim Ziyech. I've got to say, I don't like going in on players, but I'm going to have to put the boot in on him.
What are you talking about?
I'm going to have to put the boot in on him. I just think since he arrived from Ajax, he's done nothing. There's probably, you can count on one hand the amount of games that he's actually influenced and been good in. And last night he was so poor again. The thing is, he had a really good pre-season and then got the goal in a Super Cup, picked up that injury. He just can't get his flow back now. And for me, he's running out of chances now, and he doesn't deserve to be anywhere near the lineup at the moment.
No, he doesn't. I mean, he's shown at Ajax, and when he came, we had that massive window. I was probably most excited about Ziyech. He was probably the player that I was like, oh, sick! Like he's gonna put in some massive performances and be a star for us. Hasn't happened at all. Like you see glimpses of it. His first pre-season was really exciting, playing in balls, and then this pre-season as well, really exciting. Apart from that, basically nothing. I mean, literally basically nothing, you know, like, and it's really unfortunate. I agree that he's running out of chances. I don't really see much fight in him as a player. I don't know what he's like as an individual, but week in, week out, if he does get minutes or even a start like last night, it just doesn't bring it. And it's kind of just a little bit deflating, unfortunate, and yeah, running out of chances. I completely agree.
I think another player as well who needs to step up and needs to deliver on a more consistent basis. Kai Havertz, his money in the bank for that Champions League final winning goal is rapidly running out.
Are you not wearing a Kai Havertz?
Oh yeah, I am wearing a Kai Havertz shirt for that moment in Porto, but he is rapidly running out of time as well. He's another one that needs to step up and deliver on a more consistent basis. Last night, again, it's not just last night, it's been majority of this season as well. He just doesn't affect games whatsoever. There's a lot of technical ability there. There's a lot of talent there. He doesn't turn up on a consistent basis at all. And he's another one that we need a lot more from. And I think these two games, City and Juve, have really shown that we miss Mason Mount massively.
Yeah, I know that dynamism, and that the thing about Havertz, and you could say a little bit of the same for Ziyech, but really for Havertz as well. He not too similar in terms of the way he plays, but he's got, in terms of on-pitch style and demeanour, he's got Berbatov, Ozil vibes of just being quite fluid, quite chilled, quite laid back, sort of floating around. And when he's not performing, it comes off kind of worse. And not that that should mean anything, you know, but it does make poor showings like last night and against City and sort of lack of input throughout this early stage of the season just smells slightly worse. And yeah, I don't know. I agree that we need more from him. I agree about his cash in the bank from that Champions League final goal, sort of losing interest. And I don't think Tuchel's going to be afraid to bench him. I think we've seen that. I don't think he's going to be afraid to bench him for a sustained period of time if we've got people who can replace and offer more. And I think we do.
I think we really miss people in that front three that actually run at defenders. I mean, the two players that run at defenders with pace, Callum Hudson-Odoi, who can't seem to get a game and then always plays at wing back or plays on the right-hand side when he's left-footed. He needs to play on the left. And Christian Pulisic, another one who runs at defenders. We really miss someone in that final third of the pitch that actually runs at defenders. Pulisic is useless to have at the club if he's always going to be injured. He really needs to get himself fit and keep himself fit, because he is someone that actually runs at the defence, as does Callum Hudson-Odoi. The likes of Havertz, Ziyech, Werner to an extent as well. They don't run at defenders or take people on. I think that's another big problem we've got.
Yeah, I completely agree. We, despite obviously the introduction of Lukaku, we'll get onto that. It feels quite toothless. Like the performance against City, the performance against, and look, tactically, and maybe we can speak about this, but like tactically, I think Tuchel got outdone in the last two games, in particular against City, and potentially last night as well. But if they feel like two very toothless performances, I think that comes back to the lack of dynamic forwards that we've got in terms of people who pick up the ball and run with it. I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek's a good option there, even though he's not, not forward. But I think Ruby offers that. But yeah, if Pulisic is unfit and consistently so, that's not good news. And he's definitely someone who can fill that role. And Callum Hudson-Odoi, I agree, but last couple of showings, he's looked kind of out of ideas. Looked all right last night, but I don't know. I'm not that hyped up about Callum Hudson-Odoi right now.
Yeah, I think it could definitely come, but he needs more minutes. Young players need more minutes. They're going to be inconsistent. He needs more minutes, but I don't know whether he's going to get them. But in terms of the first half performance, again, we offered nothing. I think the only opportunity we had in that first half was a corner in the first 5 minutes where Alonso pulls it back to Lukaku, who gets a shot off, but it was never in danger of challenging the goal. Otherwise, very passive, very toothless, as you said. I'm a little bit concerned about us giving away possession high up the pitch in our defensive half. We did it against City a couple of times. Juve should have really been ahead at the break. Federico Chiesa had a great chance where he puts it wide. And we were lucky to get into the break at 0-0. But then for me, it's inexcusable to come out at half time and let a goal in the first 11 seconds of the second half. And we were just sleeping again. That's disappointing. It's definitely not panic stations, but this was another performance where Lukaku looked massively isolated, feeding off scraps, and it doesn't help when the wing backs aren't getting forward enough. Our real width is coming from them, and there is none. There was none against City. There was none really last night. It doesn't help with the likes of Havertz and Ziyech can't put a ball into the box that beats the first man. That's really poor. I think Reece James is massively missed. Azpilicueta, fantastic defender, fantastic player. He's kind of running out of legs to get up and down in that right wing back slot now. We need to.
I think his days as a wing back are numbered, and we've spoken before about this. But he's fast becoming, if not already, the third centre back.
And I think Alonso, he's done very well at the start of the season. Last two games, he's not been great. He wasn't great against Manchester City. A poor first half against Juve. Chile came on at half time. Yeah. I think it probably is now time for a run for Chile in this side and see if that offers us any more. But yeah, the lack of width from the fullbacks has been a big problem these last two games, and the inability of those players in the front three to actually get a ball into the box that beats the first man. It must be so frustrating for Lukaku. And coming on to, obviously, he had a big chance at the end, which he probably should have buried, but he is feeding off scraps. Antonio Conte, interestingly, saying on Sky Italia last night that Chelsea are not playing to Lukaku's strengths and we're not getting the best out of him. That is 100% true at the moment. Why do you think we're not playing to his strengths? He likes balls into feet, he likes balls into the box, etc. Why do you think we're not doing that?
I think a lot of these players haven't played with a striker like Lukaku. And I mean, it's unfortunate to see. Like, it's a real shame. When he first came in, obviously 3 goals, really great. But what I want Chelsea to avoid is for people and the fans, and for there to be a vibe at the club like, oh, is this another cursed striker situation? And I don't think we're in anything like that. I think we're absolutely fine. We just need to adjust. And right now, Lukaku's presence on the pitch, first of all, isn't being utilised enough. It's kind of like bordering on a hindrance because the way we were playing going forward is confused and lacks ideas, when really having a player like Lukaku on the pitch should simplify things massively. You know, you've got players who are fantastic at picking passes. Jorginho used to be pinging them in at Lukaku's feet. Every time you see Lukaku backing up onto his defender on the edge of the penalty box, you know, you're thinking there's a chance here, because no one can deal with him. Literally, like, you know, Van Dijk, maybe a couple of defenders who play maybe can handle a situation like that, but very, very few can, even at the top level, can deal with Lukaku taking the ball on the turn. He's so massive that he takes the ball on the turn, one touch, he's got a good, great first touch, and he's able to get a shot away. There needs to be so much more of that. Also, balls into the box, the quality needs to be better. And Reece James coming back into the side is going to help with that. And I mean, Alonso is usually very good with that. I think Chile can be as good if he continues to work on it, which he needs to. So I'm not freaking out. I encourage everyone else not to freak out. I think we're absolutely fine. But as Conte said, a slightly higher IQ in terms of our use of a player like Lukaku needs to be employed. And as for why it's not right now, I don't know. It's confusing.
Yeah, it's not. It's by no means panic stations. That we've lost 2 tough games and we've not been completely outclassed in them. I think Tuchel, as you said at the top of the video, has been out-tacticked by Pep and Allegri, which is a little bit disappointing considering how well he's done since he came in, and his in-game management and his tactics have been spot on. But you are going to get caught out every so often. I think it's important though. We do again. Another big plus was Ruben. He came on. He just runs with the ball. Someone that picks the ball up in the midfield and actually runs forward. Look, nothing against Jorginho, Kovacic, etc. They've been really great. Kante obviously outstanding, but these guys don't pick the ball up and drive forward with it. They're pick a pass sideways, backwards, or a short pass going forward. It's nothing that's penetrative and, you know, helps us get up the pitch. So I think Ruben was a big plus. I think he's got to be knocking on the door for a start against Southampton at the weekend.
He beats his man pretty much every time. Like, he's got so much quality, and for his size, he's actually a really rare player. Like, obviously, it's easy as Chelsea fans to get excited about Ruby and his season and is this and all the rest of it. But I think he's definitely done enough in the past 3 games to warrant a start.
Yeah, no, I think he should definitely be knocking on the door to get involved, but that kind of remains to be seen. But yeah, it was pretty toothless, I'm afraid. I think that's the word that sums it up. A couple of opportunities at the end, as I touched on. Lukaku should do a little bit better. Havertz with a header from a corner near the end. Again, they're kind of clutching at straws a little bit, but it's definitely not panic stations. We've lost 2 games, 1-0. A little bit concerning that we've not scored in the last 2 games, given all the attacking players we have on the pitch, but we don't create anything for Lukaku. So it's quite tough to see where the goals are coming from at the moment, because there's none in the midfield and the wing backs haven't been getting forward. So not panic stations whatsoever. But as Joe Cole said on BT last night, great sides don't lose 3 on the spin. So this Southampton game has now suddenly picked up a lot of importance, and we've got to head into the international break on the back of a win. We don't want to be going 3 games without a win heading into that break, because then, you know, it's kind of a bit of unwanted media attention and questions do start to be asked from those from the outside. I've got no doubt that Tuchel will be looking at this internally. He knows that he's probably got it wrong the last couple of games. He knows he can do better. The players can do better. I think it will massively help once Christian Pulisic, Reece James, Kante and Mount are back. But we've got to start playing to Lukaku's strengths, because otherwise there is a fear that I think teams are working us out at the moment with this 3-4-3. I'm not sure if it was temporary, because that's kind of what worked and he stumbled across it when he first came in. But I'm not sure if a system change could be on the horizon, because I don't know what you think, just to wrap up, but I feel that we're slightly getting found out in this system now.
Yeah, I think potentially. What I will say is that this Chelsea side doesn't have the fragility that it did under Lampard. I think there's a steeliness, and I think there's a confidence in this group of players. I think you've got just the right balance of sort of young talent as well as experience. You know, you look at a guy like Lukaku, he's been through it, you know, and he's no longer, I think this, if you can even call it a goal drought, it's not a goal drought, but these last couple of games is not going to bother him, and I think he's going to be able to work through it, get a next goal, and move on with confidence and continue a great season for Chelsea. I think we've got great characters, you know, Thiago Silva, Rudiger, these types of guys, Jorginho, you know, they're just the kind of people to be able to ride a small patch like this. And when you're a top side and you've got expectations to win the league and you're holding the Champions League, people are immediately going to start talking. You know, we lost to City, one of the best sides in Europe. We went away to Juve and went 1-0 down and they held on to it in Turin. Like, these are tough games. And although they're ones that we expect results from, it's not time to start talking. And I think this Chelsea side won't be flapping. Neither will Tuchel, crucially. And like I said, I think there's an inner confidence to this side, which is going to work us through this nicely.
Yeah, and it means Southampton at the weekend, I think now is must win heading into that international break. As I was saying, you want to head into there on with a win in the bag, and you don't want to start going 3 games without a win. But yeah, I'm fully confident that the lads can get the job done. Tuchel will be back at it. We should get a win over Southampton. But yeah, that's just myself and Kit's thoughts on the Juve game. Obviously, a lot to digest. It's not panic stations yet. We've got to keep the faith, and we will definitely be back. And hopefully, at the weekend, we can get the job done. But yeah, guys, we'll catch you in the next one. Make sure you smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and see you in the next video.